Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, why are people so difficult? Why won't they just listen? Or maybe, am I the only sane one here? Before you label your coworkers, friends, or even your boss as hopeless, consider this. What if the problem isn't that you're surrounded by idiots, but that you're surrounded by people who think differently than you? In Surrounded by Idiots, behavioral expert Thomas Erikson reveals a simple but powerful truth. Most conflicts don't come from bad intentions, they come from miscommunication. Why? Because we all speak different behavioral languages, red, yellow, green, or blue, and when we don't recognize these styles, we clash, judge, or shut down. But once you learn how to spot these colors in people, everything changes. You'll understand what motivates them, how they make decisions, and how to get through to them without losing your mind. In this video, we're breaking down the colorful world of personality types and how you can use this insight to connect better, lead smarter, and stop thinking everyone around you is an idiot. Let's dive in. Meet the Reds. Assertive, competitive, and unapologetically confident. They walk fast, talk fast, and don't like to waste time. You know that person who always seems like they're in a rush, takes charge in meetings, and doesn't sugarcoat anything? That's a Red. In Surrounded by Idiots, author Thomas Erikson defines Reds as the dominance type. They're natural-born leaders, driven by results, fueled by goals, and wired to win. To a Red, everything is a mission. They don't ask, how do you feel about this? They ask, what's the plan, and what's the deadline? They're confident, often bold, and they make decisions quickly. They thrive under pressure and actually like challenges that would stress others out. Sounds great, right? Well, there's a flip side. Reds can come off as bossy, or worse, rude, insensitive, even intimidating, because they value results over relationships. They often forget to soften their delivery. They're not trying to hurt your feelings, they just think efficiency matters more than politeness. This creates tension, especially with more sensitive types like greens or yellows. A Red might say, just do it, while a green hears that as, you don't matter. So, how do you deal with Reds? Tip number 1. Be direct. Don't beat around the bush. Reds have no patience for small talk or vague suggestions. They'll respect you more if you get to the point. Tip number 2. Show confidence. Reds admire strength. If you stand your ground respectfully, they'll take you seriously. If you're too passive, they'll walk all over you, without even realizing it. Tip number 3. Focus on results. Frame your ideas in terms of outcomes. Instead of saying, I think this might work, say, this will save us 3 hours a week. That's the language Reds speak: efficiency, results, impact. But what if you are a Red? Here's what you need to remember. Not everyone moves at your speed. And not everyone should. People aren't obstacles, they're your team. If you want to truly lead, slow down and listen. Pause before pushing. And learn how to deliver feedback with respect, not just urgency. Because as powerful as Reds can be, their real strength lies in self-awareness. When a Red learns how to adapt their tone and listen as much as they lead, they become unstoppable. Have you ever met someone who could charm an entire room in 5 seconds flat? They're always smiling, always talking, always lighting up the mood. That's not coincidence. You've just met a yellow. In Surrounded by Idiots, Thomas Erikson breaks down human behavior into 4 colors. And yellows? They're the influencers, the social butterflies, the life of every party, even if the party is just a Monday morning meeting. Let's take a closer look. Yellows are enthusiastic, spontaneous, creative, and incredibly people-oriented. They see the world in possibilities, not problems. Their energy is contagious. They speak with their hands. They make jokes. And they'll probably forget your name, but remember your birthday. But here's the thing. Yellows don't do well with routine. They hate being bored. They're easily distracted. And while they're amazing at starting things, finishing them, not always their strong suit. That's because yellows are driven by connection and excitement. They want to inspire, to be liked, and to have fun while doing it. So what motivates them? Recognition, social interaction, creative freedom. They crave recognition. A yellow lights up when praised. A simple, great job, can fuel them for days. But ignore them, or worse, criticize them in public, and they'll shut down or spin out. Now, this can cause some tension in more formal or structured environments. To a blue, for example, a data-driven, detail-loving personality, a yellow's bubbly ideas may seem chaotic or unrealistic. But here's the truth. Yellows are essential in any team. They bring optimism when morale is low. They get people talking, connecting, collaborating. They make work feel like play, and sometimes, that's exactly what's needed. So how do you communicate with a yellow? Tip number 1. Be positive. Start with praise. Be warm. Smile. If you jump straight to criticism, they'll tune out, or worse, take it personally. Start with what they did well. Then suggest improvements. Tip number 2. Give them space to express. Yellows love to talk. Give them room to share their thoughts. If you cut them off too soon, they may feel rejected or unappreciated. Tip number 3. Keep it fun and engaging. If you want them to show up fully, let them be creative. Don't drown them in spreadsheets and rules. Instead, give them the freedom to brainstorm, imagine, and inspire. But what if you are a yellow? Here's what you need to know. Not everyone wants to chat all day. Not everyone sees the value in brainstorming endlessly. And not everyone works well with chaos. Your energy is a gift, but it needs direction. Learn to listen, not just speak. Learn to follow through, not just start. Because while your charm opens doors, your consistency is what keeps them open. And one more thing, structure is your secret weapon. It may feel boring at first, but a little bit of planning goes a long way. When you combine your creativity with consistency, you become unstoppable. Every color has value. Reds get things done. Yellows spark connection. Greens bring calm. Blues bring clarity. And the better we understand each other, the better we work, lead, and live. So the next time you meet someone who won't stop talking, bouncing from idea to idea, remember this: they're not scattered, they're yellow. And they might just be the spark your team needs. If red is the go-getter and yellow is the life of the party, then green is the quiet heartbeat holding everything together. They're calm, kind, patient, and they absolutely hate conflict. You might not always notice them, but trust me, greens are the glue of every team, family, and friendship circle. Thomas Erikson calls green the steady type. They're not loud, they don't crave the spotlight, but they're dependable, loyal, and consistent. Exactly the kind of person you want by your side when things go sideways. So what makes a green tick? Greens are motivated by security, harmony, and routine. They thrive in stable environments and are most comfortable when everything, and everyone, is at peace. They're the best listeners in the room. They won't interrupt you. They won't argue. They'll nod, smile, and quietly take everything in. But don't mistake their calm for weakness. Greens are incredibly strong, just in a quiet, non-confrontational way. In fact, their greatest strength is their emotional balance. They're rarely reactive. They take time to think. They don't make decisions on impulse. They reflect, process, and then act. But of course, this also has a downside. Greens can be too passive. They avoid confrontation to a fault. They might say yes to things they don't want to do, just to keep the peace. They might suppress their opinions to avoid rocking the boat. This often leads to burnout. Because they're so busy keeping others comfortable, they forget to set boundaries for themselves. And in fast-moving environments, their slowness to decide or change can frustrate more dominant types, like reds or yellows. So how do you communicate with a green? Tip number 1. Be gentle and respectful. Don't pressure them to respond immediately. They need time to think, and rushing them only makes them shut down. Give space. Be patient. Invite their input. Don't demand it. Tip number 2. Offer reassurance. Greens fear change and uncertainty. So if you're proposing something new, explain how it will benefit everyone, and remind them that they'll be supported through it. Tip number 3. Make them feel safe. They need emotional safety to open up. If they trust you, they'll tell you how they really feel. Until then, they'll stick to what feels polite and safe. But what if you are a green? Here's what you need to know. It's okay to say no. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to disagree, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. You don't need to carry the emotional weight of the whole group. You matter just as much as everyone else. And when you find the courage to set boundaries and express your real thoughts, that's when your true power shows. Greens are amazing friends, partners, and teammates, loyal to the core and steady through life's storms. But their growth lies in learning to step forward, not just step back, because when a green becomes more assertive, without losing their warmth, they become a quiet force of nature. Blue, they're not loud, they don't crave attention, but when they speak, it's always precise, logical, and well thought out. Meet the blues, the detail-oriented thinkers of the world. Thomas Erikson describes blues as the conscientious personality type. They're analytical, structured, and deeply committed to doing things the right way. Not just fast, not just good enough, but flawlessly. If red is the driver, yellow is the cheerleader, and green is the mediator, blue is the strategist. They think before they speak. They question everything, and they're obsessed with facts, logic, and accuracy. Blues value order, precision, and depth. They don't just want answers, they want the right answers. They don't just ask, what? They ask, why, how, and what happens if we get it wrong? In a world full of rushing and improvising, blues slow things down and make sure we stay grounded. But that strength can also become a weakness. Blues can be overly critical of themselves and others. They get stuck in analysis paralysis. They may delay decisions because it's not perfect yet, and they can come across as cold, distant, or overly formal, especially to emotional types like yellows or greens. They're not trying to be difficult. They just want to avoid mistakes, because to a blue, being wrong is deeply uncomfortable. So what motivates a blue? Accuracy, logic, quality, independence. They want to do high-quality work. They want clear expectations and solid information. And they prefer working alone, where they can focus without distractions. Blues don't like surprises. They need time to prepare, time to think, and time to perfect. So how do you communicate with a blue? Tip number 1. Be clear and specific. Vague language drives them crazy. Instead of saying, "Can you help with this?" Try, "Can you check the numbers in section 3 before 3 p.m.? Facts first, emotions second. Be prepared. Tip number 2. Respect their process. Blues need time to think before acting. If you push them to make quick decisions, they'll resist or freeze up. Tip number 3. Don't get too personal too fast. Blues value professionalism. Small talk is fine, but oversharing right away might make them uncomfortable. They warm up over time, once they trust your competence. But what if you are a blue? Here's the truth. Your eye for detail is a gift. Your standards lift the quality of every project you touch. But perfection is a moving target, and sometimes, good enough really is good enough. You don't need to know everything before you start. You don't need 100% certainty to make a decision. Progress beats perfection. Clarity beats overthinking. Connection beats isolation. Blues grow the most when they learn to trust others, not just systems. And when they stop chasing flawless and start embracing done. Because in a team, your insight is priceless, but only if you share it in time. So let's zoom out for a moment. Now that we've met all 4 personality types, what's the big picture? Red wants action. Yellow wants fun. Green wants peace. Blue wants precision. Each one has strengths. Each one has blind spots. And most people aren't just one color, they're a blend, with one dominant style. So why does this matter? Because once you understand someone's color, you stop taking things personally. You stop labeling people as difficult or weird. And you start communicating in ways they understand. This is the power of surrounded by idiots. It's not really about personality tests. It's about connection. It's about empathy. It's about learning to work with people, not against them. So the next time someone seems too blunt, too chatty, too slow, or too picky, ask yourself, am I dealing with an idiot? Or just someone with a different color? Because the truth is, you're not surrounded by idiots. You're surrounded by humans. Thanks for watching this full color breakdown of Surrounded by Idiots. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe to Quick Reads for more bite-sized wisdom from best-selling books. And tell us in the comments, Which color are you?